Counselor Donald. Counselor Donald. Did she step away?
I'm here.
Counselor Donald.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Good evening, counselors, and welcome to the City of Bessemer Operating Budget Fiscal Year 2020-2021, meeting number 3 here in the great city of Bessemer. And thank you, counselors, for taking time out of your busy evening to have meeting number 3. We'll have a silent word of prayer, and we'll have roll call, Ms. Taylor. A silent word of prayer, counselor. Amen. Roll call, Ms. Taylor.
Yes, ma'am. Counselor Alexander. Counselor Collier. Counselor Crusoe.
Present.
Counselor Marshall.
Here.
Counselor Thigpen. Counselor Matthews.
Present.
Counselor Donald.
Present.
You have 4 present, 3 absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Ms. Pryor, are you on the line? Ms. Pryor, are you on the line? Mayor Gully, are you on the line?
Good afternoon, Madam President. Good afternoon to all that's on the line.
Good afternoon. Good evening, Mayor Gully. Will Ms. Pryor be joining us this evening?
Yeah, she should be on the line. Might be having a few technical difficulties. But she will be here.
Counselors, we'll wait just a few minutes for Ms. Pryor to get on the line. And we'll go into our budget meeting number 3.
Counselor Donald.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think Counselor Alexander has joined us. Counselor Alexander.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, present.
Okay. Counselor Alexander joined the budget meeting at 6:33 p.m.
Thank you so much.
Counselor Donald, Ms. Pryor is on the phone, is on the line.
Thank you so much. Good evening, Ms. Pryor.
Okay, there we go. I'm sorry. Okay.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I am wonderful, wonderful. We left off on page number 15.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
had an explanation. There were some questions asked, and you were going to get those explanations to us.
Yes, ma'am. And I did send those explanations over to Angela. There were 2 questions that were asked. The first one stemmed from the IT department, which is on page 8. And if you'll look at 525-100. And what that is, I talked to Rick Singleton, who's the IT director, of course, and he let me know that that was mapping software and maintenance for the city. So that's mapping software. The second question was related to uniforms. And I'm going to tell you in just a moment what page. So if you look at page 14.
Are we on A or B, Miss Pryor?
14A.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And look at line item 525011, which is uniforms. And there was a question about how many uniforms did new police officers receive and how often did they get them. I did speak with, I emailed Chief Roper, and he said upon hire, new officers are given 3 new uniforms. And then they are just given replacement uniforms if they need to have replacements. But when they start, they get 3.
So there's no yearly replacement. They just start and get 3, and if they don't damage those and or wear those out, they won't get a uniform. Is that correct?
Right. That's what he said. 3. And if they become commits, in the course of their work and duties or what have you, then of course they'll replace it immediately. If that's
Right.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Crusoe.
Okay, Ms. Pryor, can you give me that line item again, number?
Look, page 14A, and we're speaking about the uniforms. Okay, so the line item is 525011.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, and so those were the 2 questions that needed some follow-up. And so that will take us to the fire department, which is on page 15, where we left off.
Okay.
Okay. So if we can, let's see, let me get a ruler. So are we going to go line by line as we did last week?
Yes, ma'am. You can go line by line. That's fine.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. So we'll I'm sorry, did you say something?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So we'll start at line 525005, which is supplies. There's a request for $35,000. Okay, incidentals, there's a request for $5,000. Posting and printing, there is a request for $500. Gas, oil, and usage, the request is $70,000. Let's see, workers' compensation claims, there is a request for $75,000.
Wait just a minute there. We budgeted in 75,000, and that 45 is the and I kind of look at something where it's trending. And if go ahead, you have an explanation.
Yes, sir. So I think I know the question. And if this is not the question, then you can ask me, of course. But we saw that the trend was lower than what the budget was. In 2020, the budget was $175,000. but the actual expenditures in 2020 was 54,000. The actual expenditures in the prior fiscal year, which is 2019, of course, was 55,000. So we that budget was adjusted to 75,000, just going along with the trends are.
Oh no, I was you at workman's comp. I was at gas and oil usage.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah, because I saw 45, 75, and then dropped down to 70.
Yes, the actual expenditures through August of 2020 was 45,000, and the budget is at 70,000. So the budget last fiscal year was 75,000, but the request was for 70,000 this year, and the actual is 45,000 through August. So there would be like one more month left.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Let's see if we can look. Let's see. Well, okay, building expense. I'm on line 525014. Building expense, $50,000. Okay. Repairs to equipment, they're requesting $10,000. Small tools and equipment, they are requesting $20,000. Communications and maintenance, they're requesting $35,000. Training expenses, they are requesting $45,000. Fire hydrants, there is a request for $45,000. Oh, I'm sorry, hold on, I'm sorry. Let me get on the right line item, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you didn't get a crossway.
Exactly. So I realized that. So training expense, 45,000, that's the request. And now fire hydrants, 525024 is where I am. The request is $175,000. Okay. And so convention and conferences, there is a request of $8,000 for conventions and conferences. EMS, the EMS division requested $170,000. The turnout PPE, which this is fire gear, like part of their uniforms, basically. They're requesting $60,000. Capital equipment, the request is $428,100.
What's new on the capital?
Okay, let's see. Let me pull that for you. Okay, so the capital, they are requesting firefighting equipment of $25,000, rescue extrication equipment, $39,000. Administration building, their classrooms and auxiliary building, they're requesting $18,000 for that building. A command vehicle, they're replacing a C-10, which is $70,000. And in fire station number, in one of the fire station number 2, they're requesting $86,000.
What fire station that was again? The last one. What was the last one you said?
Fire station number 2, $86,000.
Ms.
Is
Pryor,
there
let me ask a question. Okay, go ahead, Councilor Matthews. I thought you were finished. I'm sorry.
No, and the reason I asked because I've noticed, and even the election officials that be at various and different stations, especially 4 and 5, there's a lot of complaints from our election officials that be at the polling places at 4 and 5. And I was just wondering are there any repairs to capital renovations to any of those stations, any of the two? I just see capital equipment, but I guess I see down at the bottom it says 24,000, but we hadn't got down there yet, so I'll wait till you finish. Go ahead.
Ms. Pryor,
Yes, ma'am.
are you finished, Councilor Matthews?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay, Ms. Pryor, is any of this equipment reimbursable? I see you see PPE on here. Any of this is reimbursed to be reimbursed back to the city?
Well, as of now, the COVID dollars that we received have already been expended. So these are budgeted items that will come out of our operating budget as of now.
It'll come out with the 14 million that we have coming to the city. Maybe Mayor Gurley can answer this. Any of these items will be reimbursed back to the funding reimbursed back to the city.
Madam President, I am aware of that, but until I don't know what type of limitations will be on those funds until I actually see funds in hand accompanied by corresponding as to how they can be used. I really couldn't answer that question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right, go ahead, Ms. Pryor.
Let's see. Okay, so the next line item, we're at 525031, which is vehicle lease, and that is a lease for fire trucks. There's 2 fire trucks that we're leasing. Copier lease, they're requesting 7,000, electricity 32,000, water 22,000, phones 29,000, gas 30,000. Let's see. Okay, fire prevention 20,000. Cellular phones 25,000. Fire, let's see, grant expenses 15,000. Firefighter physicals 25,000. Repairs to vehicles 80,000. Drill field 20,000. Dues, subscriptions, and memberships 2,000. Public education $35,300. And then capital outlay equipment. This is equipment for various fire stations that have been put in the budget. So these will just be spent across different fire stations for equipment. And that concludes this budget request for the fire department.
Okay, the one that I was speaking of, and I was waiting till you get all down to the bottom, is the improvements at any stations. I see that there's not any, so that's quite disappointing, but go ahead.
Okay. All right. So the next page, we'll look at public improvement on page 16. Okay. So if we can start at 525005, They're requesting $28,000 for supplies. Incidentals, $2,500. Gas, oil, and usage, $15,000. Workers' compensation, $35,000. State unemployment insurance, $15,000. Uniforms, $4,000. Building expense, $10,000. Building expense, $10,000. Repairs to equipment, $2,500. Small tools, $2,000. Convention conferences and travel, $3,000. Capital equipment, $155,000 is the request. Okay.
Excuse me, Madam Chair. I mean, do you have any explanation as far as for the capital equipment?
Yes, ma'am. Let's see what I can have. I think I actually wrote that, got some notes on that department. So they are requesting $100,000 in building renovations, $25,000 for sidewalk cuts and repairs, a guardrail at $25,000, and then some equipment at $5,000. And that's the $155,000.
Okay, as far as you said 25,000 for a sidewalk, we do we not have our own crew that does sidewalks?
I'm gonna refer that to the mayor.
Okay, well, okay.
Ms. Pratt, did you say sidewalk cuts?
Yes, sir. Sidewalk cuts. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Madam President, yes, we do have our own crew that does concrete and does sidewalks, but that 25,000 and so forth is if there are or trip hazards, or if there are blemishes in sidewalks, that company comes out, file the sidewalks and stuff down. A few years ago, all those sidewalks and stuff was done in and around the Bart Laban Park that exact same way. So they find a section, if there's a section where there's a complaint when it comes to sidewalks, the company goes out, file the sidewalks and stuff down to make sure that they are compliant and they are not a trip hazard.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Ms. Barnard. Thank you all. Thank you, Mayor Gillett.
Now, let me ask you a question on that. What area does the tractors come in on the public improvement, the bush hogs and the tractor? Is that under capital equipment?
Let's see. We have purchased them out of the Sanitation Department. But
that's on the sanitation side?
Well, we have, although there's no budget, that they didn't request any thing this year, I don't believe. Yeah, no, I'm looking at it now, so there's no request for capital in this particular budget. But those type items, and again, we attempted to keep the budget fairly lean, and in prior years, things have been purchased, so due to uncertainties and things of that nature, this budget is pretty lean.
Right. And I just be looking at it from a maintaining parts, from a maintaining status. For instance, repairs. Some of the repairs can be eliminated, Mayor, if the user or the operator would take good care of it. There's no reason why a bush hog, the hydraulics, a bush hog should be flat on the ground from Friday to Monday. But when they cocked up, sitting up in the air from a Friday evening to a Monday morning when they're gonna use them again, that's not good on the hydraulics over a period of time. And that's just some by observation I see from time to time. And then that's when we start having these hydraulic leaks. And, but anyway, I was just looking at it from a capital side to see if there was any purchases on tractors or bush hogs. So you say it's not in it, so okay.
Madam President, Councilor Matthews, if you recall, a couple of years ago, we were in a position and so where we had to buy, if my memory serves me right, about 3 or 4 of them at one time.
Right.
I think and so that we are pretty good on them right now. Obviously, if we were not, Lawrence wouldn't have a problem and stuff coming to me telling me so. You know, I think we're okay on them because I know that we bought about 4 at one time.
Yeah.
About 2 or 3 years ago.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, while we're still on this, as far as with guard rails, where would those guard rails be placed?
Councilor Crusoe, those guardrails would be placed where they are periodically needed. Obviously, if someone hits a guardrail, there's no specific place. That's just dollar amounts in there for a guardrail. And so if there's an accident or something of that nature and a guardrail has to be repaired.
Okay, I'm just saying, as far as with the sidewalks and guardrails, it just kind of, I was just trying to, I guess, thinking it was a certain location in particular that we were budgeting for. But thanks for the explanation. Thanks, Keila. Ms. Pryor, excuse me, thank you.
So the next line item, if we can look at 525032, copier lease, $6,000 requested. Electricity, $15,000 requested. Water, $25,000 requested. Telephones, $40,000 requested. Cellular telephones, $30,000 requested. Repairs to vehicles, $5,000. And that concludes this budget for public improvements.
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, you kind of moved a little quickly for me, Ms. Pryor, I'm sorry. As far as in with the cell phones, do you have a number as to how many people in public improvement that we have distributed cell phones to?
No, ma'am, not in that department, but I can get that information if you would like to have that information.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I mean, I guess the question would be, I guess across the board with all these departments and looking at the cost of telephones as well as cell phones, are we distributing, I guess, cell phones to everyone within the departments, or is it just departmental heads? Or and I understand that there are some employees that are on call, but normally we would have a on-call phone for someone to take home in the event of that, versus someone just being given a phone, a cell phone to carry every day. I mean, it's just looking at the numbers of what the cost as far as the cell phones for the different departments, as well as like I said, you said that as far as the landlines, that's a bit much that we're paying for telephone throughout the city, and especially and cell phones as well. So I mean, if we'll get an explanation as to whether we're distributing to the departmental heads and on-call staff, or I mean, are we just providing cell phones for everyone in the department for the most part?
Yes, ma'am. So the department heads, they have cell phones, of course, and then it's on needed basis. Those employees that would need to have a cell phone or that would need to respond to after hour calls, of course, those employees will have a cell phone. So it's just on it supports the department heads, and then after that, it's on a as needed basis.
Yes, ma'am. If you could just provide that information to me. And I guess you can. I'm not certain what, but we'll finish with the budget tonight. But if you can get a concrete answer for me, I would greatly appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, so if there are no more questions about page 16, the next department is the Sanitation Department. Okay, so we'll start again at 525005, which is supplies. The request is $25,000. Incidentals, $1,500. Gas and oil usage, $120,000. Workers' compensation, $300,000. Uniforms, $31,000. Tires and tubes, $50,000. Repairs to equipment, $100,000. Convention, conferences, and travel, $5,000. Demolition of houses, $250,000.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Pryor, as far as with the demolition of houses, what cost is that? I mean, as far as into the city, I thought the demolitions are bidded out to another company. What role as far as in street sanitation, and maybe if somebody else on the line could assist with that. What role does street and sanitation play with the demolitions?
Yes, ma'am. You're correct. Do you want to get it, Mayor? Okay.
No, go ahead, Ms. Pryor. Go ahead.
Okay, so with the demolition, Councilor Cruz, so you're correct, it's bidded out to different vendors. However, we do have to pay those charges to the vendors, so we need a budget, and this department is where the budget is. So this would cover tear downs, asbestos, and all of those things that it takes to clear that land. And we're paying those different vendors for that.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so this actually doesn't fall upon city employees completing this task. This is where it's actually budgeted in order to pay the companies that does the demolition, that do the demolitions.
Yes, ma'am, it's contractors.
Okay.
Pay for the demolition service.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Landfill services, we're at 525032, which is sanitary landfill services. $400,000 is the requested budget. Recycle program, $10,000. Dump charges, more coal. There's a request for $1,000.
Excuse me, Ms. Pryor. Excuse me, Madam Chair. Before we go too far down, I have another question concerning the bids of these demolitions. Are these bids done through EEFS, the opening and closing? I guess at EEFS, given that the city hall is closed now, where does this take place?
The bid process for those, let me let the mayor answer the question about the bid process. I know for sure that they are contracted. Mayor, can you answer the question about the process, the bid process of it all?
Bid process is actually done through the building department. Council Crusoe, I didn't hear the rest of your
Yeah, I know as far as in, other bids with throughout the city, is where it's done with EEFS. So given that street and sanitation, do we have the necessary qualified staff at our street and sanitation to handle the posting and the opening of bids for the demolitions?
Those bids are not done through EEFS. They're done through the city, through the building department.
Yes, sir. I mean, that's why I'm asking these questions. And that's what I said. I said, normally bids are done through EEFS. With these bids going through street and sanitation, do we have the necessary qualified staff to handle as far as in the posting of these bids and the opening of them?
The building, can I share a little light? At one time, at one time, the bids used to come, it used to be a long process. And I think Council Dawn remembers as well, and the rest of the council.
Yes, sir.
The ones that was on here, it came in 2010. We used to open them at council meetings every time they were opening. But then we streamlined and did another process through the building department. The street and sanitation don't even deal with it, Council Crusoe. It comes straight through the building department at this particular time. But it used to come right before us. We would be up there maybe 30, 45 minutes going through each house and bidding and all that. But now it's straight building department, not street and sanitation department at all.
Okay, no problem. That's what I needed some clarity on. I know previously when we were dealing with bids, we were talking about certain people having to have certain qualifications and credentials as far as in dealing with the bids. So now you're giving me that clarity. Thank you all so much. You can carry on, Ms. Thanks for your time.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Let's see. 525034 recycle program, $10,000. Dump charges, $1,000. Recycling of tires, $7,500. Landfill closing, $10,000. It's budgeted. Pesticide spray expense, $20,000. Repairs to vehicles, $150,000. Raymond landfill expenses, $30,000. Recycle program electric, $10,000. And recycle program water, $1,000. And that concludes the sanitation budget. So we'll look at the dog pound budget next. Let's see, supplies, which I'm on line 525005. And there's a request for $12,000. Incidentals, $500. BJC contract, $60,000.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Pryor, I'm sorry to bother you. Can you explain the BJC? Because I mean, I know the understanding that I had concerning the dog pound is that that was a part of the, that was closed or contracted out somewhere else. Can you explain that? Give me some, I guess, a little more clarity on that.
Yes, ma'am. And it is a contracted service, and the vendor is coming to pick up dogs that need disposal, basically. But you're right, it is a contracted service, and that is the amount that we're paying them to do that service.
Euthanize.
Okay. Yeah. Can you this BJC? What is the name of this?
It's a, I think it's a contract with the county. Mayor, do you know the name of that vendor right offhand? And if the mayor's not here, that's another thing. I can get you the name of that vendor, but we're contracted with the company, and I can get you the name of that vendor.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so I'll make a note to do that. Okay, gas and oil, 525008, $9,000. Uniforms, $1,000. It's a budgeted request. Building expense, $5,000. Let's see. Conference, convention, conference, and travel, $2,000. Capital equipment, they're requesting $5,000. And electricity, $3,500. Water, $600. Telephone, $6,000. Let's see. Cell phones, requesting $1,000, and repairs to vehicles, $5,000.
Madam Chair, Council.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ms. Pryor, I think that's the Birmingham Jefferson County Humane Society.
It could be. I know it is yes, that sounds right. I'll double check, but you're probably correct.
And if any animal rights people were listening, you saying disposes. Don't say if need be euthanization. if need be.
Yes, sir.
I don't want people to think we killing animals. Huh?
Yes, sir. Point taken. Okay, if no other questions on that page, then page 19, which is our street department. Okay, supplies, they are requesting $40,000 in supplies. I am on page 19 and account number 525005. Okay, supplies. The request is $40,000, incidentals, $1,500. Gas and oil usage, $130,000. Workers' compensation, $22,500. Uniforms, $2,700.
$27,000.
Uniforms, $27,000. Okay, maintenance, $100,000. Tires and tubes, $40,000.
Excuse me, Madam Chair. Ms. Keegan, Ms. Pryor, I'm sorry. With this increase as far as in maintenance, I know we had approved as far as in, is this the right building as far as in having the roofing done? Is this still the same, is this the correct same building?
Let's see if I have. Mayor, do you have anything on the increase in that line item?
It is the same. It is the same facility. Let me see if I have anything in that line item.
And as far as with the roofing, for that building, we've already approved those funds, haven't we?
Yes, that is, I mean, that is correct, but, obviously that was
I'm just trying to make sure that I'm thinking correctly. I'm waiting on you to get the answer. I'm making sure this was the same building, that's all.
right out, but the roof came as an unexpected,
Yes,
repair.
yes, sir.
Okay. Are you fine with that line item, Councilor Brooks?
No, I was still waiting on the explanation for the increase since we've already done the roof. That's what I was waiting on. I was just asking the question to make sure that this was the same.
That's one that I can look into further for you. Now, I know that the contracts have been done, in terms of have all the expenses come in yet, I'm not sure of that, and that may be the reason why they asked for an increase in that line item.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think, Madam Chair, I think what Councilor Crusoe was looking at, correct me if I'm in error, repairs to equipment, that 100,000 that's on page 19 versus the 100,000 that's on another page that I saw, 100, which was the same building. Am I right, Councilor Crusoe?
Yes, sir. I'm just trying to correlate, and I'm making sure that
17 and 19 both have the same 100.
Right. I can get more clarification from the department head as to that line item, both of them.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I don't have.
Okay. So. Okay. So let's see. The next line item, because I'm going to, I'll look at that maintenance as well. So tires and tubes, which is 525015, $40,000. Repairs to equipment, 100,000. Well, yes, that's the one I'm going to look at. Okay.
Yeah, that's one.
Yes, sir. That's the one I'm going to look at. Small equipment, the request is $40,000. Convention conference and travel, they are requesting, well, skip one. Let's look at 525021, which is the weed ordinance. So they're requesting $60,000. And then convention, conference, and travel, they're requesting.
Madam Chair, before Ms. Pryor, can you explain the jump from yes, from the expenditures of nearly 13,000 to requesting 60,000? Can you give us a justification for that, if you don't mind?
Mayor, do you want to answer that one? Okay, if he may not be on the line right now, let me, I'm going to ask the department.
Ms. Pryor.
Yes, go
Ms.
ahead.
Pryor, I am on the line.
Okay.
Other than sending out and some more correspondence, and because and stuff of COVID, not as many would have been sent out and stuff on last year. Council Crusoe, I can look into the justification of it, because that's all that I'm having here is because it was abbreviated because of the year last year, and I desire to get more of those certified letters out, more signs out, and stuff when it comes and stuff to eliminating weeds.
Okay, no problem. I'll be and you'll get the information back to us, is what he said. Or was that the justification?
Well, I can speak with the director, but that was is of the justification because of COVID and because of an abbreviated year of getting and stuff a lot and stuff of those things and stuff out. The amount would be much less. The 60,000 just represents the desire to get more of those signs, more of those certification letters, things of that nature out.
Yes, sir. I mean, then looking back even before the pandemic, it was $26,413.77. So even with that, before the pandemic, we're looking at almost double the cost. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to see more weed ordinances going forth as far as and doing what we need to do to clean up the city. I was just wondering what the increase was to what it entailed.
Well, that's what it would entail. And in order to see where we are and stuff right now, I would actually have to see how much has already been spent and stuff of the 60,000 being 6 months and stuff into and stuff the year. And so that's the justification for that dollar amount being put there.
Okay, the amount that's already been spent, would that be out of the previous budget? That wouldn't have anything to do with this one, would it?
Of course, it will have being 6 months into the year, and so now at the end of the year on October 1, it was still you would still have to see what has already been spent. Again, as we stated the other night, the books will have to be reconciled, and so at the end of the fiscal year, and if whatever dollar amount you put in for the previous year, in excess of that, you will have to add it and stuff to this calendar year in order to reconcile and stuff the books and stuff after October 1. For instance, if you budgeted 20,000, but you're already over and so you're as a result of carrying the budget over, you're already over 30,000. You'll have to take that additional 10,000, yes, ma'am, and put it in the budget that we're working on right now.
Okay, the previous year was already budgeted for 60,000, and in the years, well, like I said, 2 years prior to that, 19. It was, only $26,413.77 of expenses. This previous year, due to the pandemic, as you mentioned, was $12,831.76. So you're saying that with whatever work that we've done, is likely that we've already exceeded the budgeted amount of $60,000 from the previous budget. Is that the statement that you're making right now? I'm just trying to make sure I'm clear.
No, ma'am, I wouldn't know that. What I'm trying and stuff to communicate is that I wouldn't have any idea how much and stuff would already be in that line item at this particular time, because if you carry the budget now from October 1 to April 19th, I don't know how much and so would already be this already be expended as a carryover to this particular budget. And I wouldn't know that until those books are reconciled with where we are and stuff today. But no, I wouldn't have any idea. A budget is a forecast. The actual, I don't have the actual numbers.
Okay, thank you all.
Okay, line item 525026, they're requesting $4,000 for convention, conference, and travel. Pipe shop rainwater project, $25,000 is the request. 525-040, rental equipment expense, the request is $30,000. And repairs to vehicles, they're requesting $100,000. Okay. Let's see, we're on page 20. Yes. So if we can look at supplies account, which is 525-005, they are requesting $25,000. The gas and oil, $4,000. Workers' compensation, $5,000. Building expense, $5,000. Repairs to equipment, they're requesting $10,000. Traffic lights, Alabama, they're requesting $40,000. Traffic lights, Bessemer Utilities, the request is $150,000. Traffic maintenance, $25,000. Traffic signals, $30,000. Warning sirens repair, the request is $5,000. Capital equipment, they're requesting $30,000. And let's see, I did make a note of that. They're requesting that for restriping projects. Let's see. Okay, so let's see, building expense, phones, they're requesting $1,600. Electricity, they're requesting $2,200. Water services, they're requesting $6,000. Cellular phones, $2,500. Repairs to vehicles, $15,000. And that concludes this budget for traffic.
In that, Madam Chair, in that traffic, that heard you say about striking. Are they going to get something that will house the glass, the beads for the reflection on the center line striping or line striping? Matt, did Mr. Lewis give you an explanation for that?
Council Matthews, they've already gotten a different type and stuff of paint that should reflect and stuff better and stuff going forward. We've already had that discussion.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, page 21, which is the Cemetery Department. Supplies, they're requesting $5,000 in the supply account. Postage and printing, $90. Let's see, gas, oil, and usage, $8,000. Building expense, $10,000. Repairs to equipment, $8,000. Copier lease, $1,788. Electricity, $13,000. Water, $10,000. Excuse me. Telephones, $8,600. Cellular phones, $3,500. Repairs to vehicles, $8,000, and that concludes the cemetery budget. With the request.
Ms. Fryer,
Yes, ma'am.
is there a reason we jumped $8,000 on the electricity? Do we have a new building or something down there?
No, ma'am. Not to my knowledge. I'm not sure exactly why the request is 13,000. Why he projected it for that amount.
Madam President,
Yes, sir.
it can be exactly and so what you just mentioned. You know, we've done major upgrades to the building down there. As a matter of fact, it's basically just like a brand new building. I would say if there is if it's an increase, it's because now you have a more adequate building to work out of. As a matter of fact, that building sat vacant and stuff until it was much of it was actually renovated and stuff by Harry Pierce and a lot of stuff of the workers down at the cemetery. So I would think that that's probably why some of the water and the utility.
Okay. I was looking at it today. I really hadn't ever noticed it until today. And I said, wow, we got a new building here. Thank you, Maybella. Okay, Miss Parr, you can go on to 22.
Okay, hold. One question.
Okay.
Matt, have you, I almost asked that question in a pretty bad way. I almost asked how much life left in the cemetery, but not life, but as far as I see, they're almost in Old Jonesboro. When you're looking at it from the back side, have you all assessed that area to see how many more, how much more room we have on the back side?
Council Matthews, I posed that question to the director out there. Right now, it looks like we have anywhere from about 300 to 500 on grave sites out there.
Oh,
Wonderful.
no, that ain't wonderful. That's not too many.
Yeah, that is correct.
That's not too many.
Not many at all.
No.
There's more than I gave it a count for.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Yes. More than I gave it a count for, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Page number 22, please.
Okay. Let's supply count. So they're requesting $3,500. Workers' compensation, $2,500.
Wait, you say they're requesting, this says $35,000.
I'm sorry, I did say $35,000.
Madam President,
Yes, ma'am.
I just have a question. On the supplies, what kind of supplies? And we budgeted this for what? 35,000 and actually only spent 14 in 2019 and 11,000. I know it's the pandemic. We can't budget it at 15,000.
We may want to get Mayor, do you have a in-depth justification for that line item before? Because I wouldn't want to change it without getting a in-depth justification of what he plans on doing out there in the park.
Once again, it's a projection. It supplies. I cannot put in I can't quantify and so what a park director might feel he needs and so in supplies. Just because I purchased 14,000 1 year in supplies, that may not have been enough in supplies that is stuff that he needed and stuff in order to do what was necessary for all parks. So if you're not okay with the forecast, then you know, put it to whatever you like, and we'll just have to find some way and stuff to deal within that. But I can't say what amount of supplies one may need and stuff in one park versus another.
Well, thank you, Mayor. You're right. If you don't like the forecast, change the weather. I said, let's cut it.
Madam Chair.
Ms. Crusoe, Councilman Crusoe.
Are
Can you
done?
hear me?
I can hear you. I was just making
Yes.
sure. I just wanted to kind of make a statement concerning the projections. This is where we need to make sure that we're all on the same page as far as with this budget. I think it's been said enough times that we all are clear that this is only a projection. This is not to minimize or anybody from you're doing whatever is necessary to make sure that Bessemer is at its best for our citizens. In the event, not just park and rec, street and sanitation, or anyone else that adjustments are being made to this budget, if beyond what's foreseeable, if they get to a point and determine that brand new swing sets or seesaws or anything of that sort are warranted, or is something that they desire, that they still have the liberty and freedom to come back before the council and make the request for whatever it is that whatever changes or whatever request that they want to make. So if adjustments are being made to this budget, that's not to minimize anybody from doing what they need to do to provide whatever is necessary for the citizens or even guests here in the city of Bessemer. Like I said before, they still have freedom and the liberty to come back before the council making further requests. Thank you.
Are you finished, Councilor Crusoe?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Are you finished, Councilor Alexander?
I just have one more thing to say. I mean, looking at the budget and going over the budget, I see some things, and Councilor Crusoe have addressed a lot of things that I wanted to address, but she addressed them first. That we can probably cut out this budget. I mean, it's the council's. It's up to us to cut this budget and to do some things in the community that we need to do for these citizens as far as paving roads. And if we could cut the budget to where we could do that and save some money to do the things we need to do, I would love that.
Councilor Alexander, we are, at this point in time, if you can remember, we are working with the bun market to do paving of the roads in the communities. Your thought as to what you want to cut this from 35 to Councilor Alexander.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were asking me a question.
Yes,
I say
ma'am.
35,000 until like 18,000, no more than 20, at least. At least.
I would agree with the 20, and the reason why I say that, I think there's been a lot of it's going to have to be some increasing in putting back the parks back where they once were. I think several basketball goals were taken down, and in order to keep a lot of people, I guess, safe. And as Councilor Crusoe said, we can amend the budget, but at the same time, there are going to have to be some I guess some reinstalling of some of the equipment that was removed. But at the same time, I would would agree no less than 20, but at the same time have an open mind if the park director sees where there's some additional things that he may need, he can come back and we can amend the budget, and we may be right back at the 30 to 35,000 mark.
So, Ms. Pryor, my thoughts were if we were going to cut it, I would think 25, because I'm looking at Carver Park, and it's going to have to be painted again because someone has a lot of graffiti has been placed in that park. And looking at Southside Community Park, I would say if we are going to cut it, we cut it to 25. Give him a little leeway, and if he has to come back to the council, that 10,000 will still be here for them to come back to.
Or if there's Madam Chair, we asked for justifications of other things. Why didn't we get a justification of that?
That's fine.
Before we cut.
Ms. Pryor?
Yes, ma'am.
Can we get a justification for this? Let us see
that's
what
treated.
it is the
That's
director. Let us see what it is the director is planning on doing in the park before we cut it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Chrissy, go ahead.
Okay. Back over to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Workers' compensation, $2,500 is budgeted. Gas, oil, and usage, $15,000. Uniforms, $4,000. Building expense, $15,000. Repairs to equipment, $5,000. Convention, conference, and travel, $1,500. Capital equipment, $10,000. And I did speak with him. This $10,000, he plans to get a zero-turn mower with the $10,000 in 525030. Okay. Maintenance, $20,000 is requested. Improvements, $80,000 is requested. Electricity, $90,000.
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair. Okay, Ms. Pryor, can you, what type of justification do we have as far as with the maintenance for 80,000?
Let's see. The maintenance. I'm sorry, maintenance of $20,000.
Okay, I mean, improvement. I'm sorry, improvements.
Improvements of 80,000. Okay, yes, ma'am. So, there's a combination of things that'll be done. There's lighting. He requested do lighting at Hard Park. Well, actually, he said all parks. I had just started listing them, but then he said that was for all parks. He wanted to do some lighting. Also, striping of the walking tracks at the parks, and also replacing fencing at the parks.
Repeat that. Replacing what?
Replacing the fencing.
Oh, okay.
Fencing. So it was a combination of things. It was doing lighting at the parks, striping the walking tracks at the parks, and replacing fencing.
Ms.
Madam
Pryor.
Chair, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Ms. Pryor,
Yes, ma'am.
with that, several things come in. Did Mr. Person make a request for exercise equipment?
Let's see. I don't have that noted specifically. So I don't have that written down specifically.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Counselor Alexander.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Pryor, will these things be done this budget year? All those things you named, with the lights and the striping and the fence and all that stuff, are they on the ball to have all that stuff done this year, this budget year?
Some of these projects may have already been started. I would have to, look and see as, specifically which ones have started, but that is, we started this budget process months ago, and so that was the plan at that time. So I'm not sure exactly which ones have are already in place or what has been spent so far.
Yes, can you get me some clarification as to what has been done? I know, like I said, you named like 3 or 4 things that they're doing in the parks. Can you get me some clarification on what have been done as far as the lights, the striping, and things of that nature?
Yes, I can speak to him to see where he is.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Electricity, 90,000. Water, $5,000 requested. Telephones, 2,000. 4th of July celebration, 3,500. Cell phones, $3,000 requested, and repairs to vehicles, $10,000 requested.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
I see that 35,000 for the 4th of July. Are we gonna? Do we anticipate a 4th of July at the high school again?
We did agree to that. We did agree to that resolution a week, maybe or 2 ago, Councilor Matthews, which was $15,000.
With Pyro Production.
Yes, sir. The fireworks,
Yes,
they came and did that presentation a few weeks ago, or they came on Zoom and did a presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, Ms. Pryor.
Yes, ma'am. Page 23. Okay. So, the supplies, 525005. The supply request is $50,000. Incidentals, $1,500. And we're working with the fleet maintenance budget. I'm sorry. So,
Thank you.
yes, sir. So, incidentals, they're requesting $1,500. Gas and oil usage, $8,000. Workers' compensation, $25,000. Uniforms, $7,000. Building expense, $10,000. Repairs to equipment, $5,000. Training expense, $5,000. Convention, conferences, and travel, $2,500. Capital equipment, $6,600. And with that, they are requesting, this is fleet maintenance, yes, they're requesting compressors for the air compressors for their trucks at $6,000. They want to purchase 2 air compressors for the trucks. And
Now I see at the top, Ms. Pryor.
yes, ma'am.
At the top, I see 2019 budget. Then I see 2019 budget on over. So is this
Yes, ma'am. That, okay, 20, that should, that where at the top, it should be 2020, 2021.
Yep.
That didn't carry over to that sheet. This is
I
20.
got you. I got
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so we talked about the capital equipment. So copier lease, 525032, they're requesting 2,500. Electricity, 15,000. Water, 7,000. Telephones, 10,000.
Excuse me, Ms. Pryor, Madam Chair.
you. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for Ms. Pryor.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Pryor, do we lease the copiers from the same person every department? Do we use the same company?
We did talk about that. That vendor for that is Conoco Minolta.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Let's see. Okay, repairs to vehicles, they're requesting, let's see, fleet maintenance, $8,000. And that concludes this budget. So, okay. Page 24 is the budget for the golf course. Okay, so supplies, the request is $13,000. Incidentals, $1,100. Postage, printing, and stationery, $200.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, as far as in the increase from 2019, back on supplies, from 6,000, and I see it's been an increase in 2019. Okay, what was that justification, I guess, from 2019 to 2020? And I guess for us to continue to maintain that in going into 2021.
Yes,
Previously, I see it was $6,103 of expenditures. So now, like I said, we've increased it and we're kind of holding steady with it. What is the explanation for that?
yes, ma'am. So some of these accounts will fluctuate basically depending on what needs to be done in that particular year. And each year the needs are going to be somewhat different. So they can fluctuate somewhat.
Yes, ma'am. And I noticed that we did have a where it did fluctuate, but we I guess we maintained that fluctuation, and now it's even an increase on top of that. So whatever it was that warranted, that increase, we're maintaining the increase. So I mean, so what was the justification for the increase and to continue it?
I can probably better answer that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And it's going to probably be because when we're talking supplies, it's more usage of the golf course. Obviously, when it comes to the golf course, made over $500,000 and stuff last year, and had some real historical moments and stuff when it comes and stuff to the amount of money that that golf course and stuff made. So obviously, if you got more people out there and you're making more revenue, then you're going to have more supplies and stuff out there. That's the rationale for the increase of the supplies out at the golf course.
Okay, more usage. Okay, thank you so much. Thanks, Ms. Pryor. Now I guess we can go to incidentals because I was stuck on the supplies. Thank you.
Thank you. Postage and printing, they're requesting $200. uniforms, $500. Let's see, repairs and maintenance building, $67,000.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I would like some clarity on concerning that as well.
Mhm. So what was coded there, there were some repairs to the the trails where the golf carts ride on the concrete, repairs to concrete out there at the golf course.
Okay, and those repairs have already been done, or they're requesting those repairs?
They have been done, but it was done in some increments. So they did have some repairs done, and they're requesting to do further repairs as well. Because yes, they did do some of that in 2020.
Okay, so repairs to concrete.
To the the cart paths and stuff that that's being driven on, not the concrete.
Right. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you all.
Yes, ma'am. Equipment repairs, they're requesting $30,000. Convention conference and travel, $10,000. Landscaping, $80,000. Telephones, $8,000. Advertising, they're requesting $4,000. Let's see, dues, they're requesting $1,000. Let's see, office equipment, $1,000. Office supplies, $2,000 is the request. Bank service fees, $4,000.
Can you expound upon that? I'm sorry, that's my first time seeing that. Excuse me, Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am. So we take credit cards out there, and so those are processing fees and rentals for credit card machines, and the fees associated with that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Signage, maintenance, $1,000. Gas and oil, $12,000 requested. Event labor, they're requesting $5,000. Contract labor, the request is $200,000. Equipment rental and lease.
Can you explain what a contract labor is?
Yes, ma'am. The golf director, he's the only city employee per se out there. And then they have other people that keep up the grounds, cut the grass, and all of those type of services. So
okay, that doesn't fall under landscaping?
No, landscaping could be supplies and other stuff like that to keep the
Landscaping covers only the supplies, you said?
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's just the landscaping services. I don't believe there's any contract in there. I can run that and just make sure, but I'm thinking that's just the supplies and everything for the landscaping services. They have to keep all of that greenery out there.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so as far as with the cutting of the grass, our city employees maintain the golf course as far as cutting the grass down there.
No, ma'am, that's incorrect.
It's
okay,
contract workers. It's the contract workers that maintain the contract workers where we were saying contract labor in that 52511. We use contract workers to provide those services.
Okay, so it's 200,000 for basically the grass cutting, and what else?
any type of services that needs to be done down there, because Mr. Ed, he's the only city employee. $55,000 or something like that is where he's at, and then everything else is done by contract services. So that could be, keeping up the facilities, doing some of the maintenance work, working the counters, seeing customers that come in, taking care of the facilities and keeping things clean, cutting the grass, laying, any of those type things.
And Madam Chair and Ms. Pryor, those contract labor guys, I've been knowing them for years, and they know golf, and they know how to maintain the golf course. They know golf, and they're not, no 20-year-olds. May I think, I won't call no name, but some of them pretty well in their 60s, 60 plus. Am I right?
That's correct, Councilor Matthews, and you are correct. When you're dealing and stuff with the maintaining of the fairways and you're maintaining of the greens, you have to have and stuff a person with professional knowledge and stuff to do that. And we're talking contract labor, about 15 employees, about 15 contractual workers that obviously we couldn't afford to employ as regular employees to maintain the golf course. So they are contract laborers that knows and stuff how and stuff to maintain a golf course.
And over the years,
Some of them been out there probably about 30 years.
Yeah,
25
and
to 30 years.
Yeah, and they know themselves some. And Council Crusoe, in their defense, they know they've done a great job out there on that golf course. And I submit to anybody, they second to none when it comes down to that. And I just wanted to convey that over to you, because there's some good guys that do some good work out there.
Yes, sir. I mean, it wasn't questioning anyone's expertise. It was just really getting some clarity. When I saw landscaping and previously in the budget, when we see landscaping, that meant cutting of grass. I've rented the golf course several times. It's beautiful down there. It was just for the sake of documentation and clarity for this budget. That's all.
Right. Okay. All
right. Thank you all.
Uh-huh.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Pryor, you can go ahead.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Thank you. And the landscaping, I did pull to see if I had any documentation, and I did make a note from Mr. Davis at the golf course, and the $80,000 is just landscaping supplies. It's just the supplies, is what we said earlier. I just wanted to make certain of that. Okay. Let's see. So, okay, equipment rental lease, which is 525-125, and their his request is $45,000. And here we're leasing the golf carts. So that's what that is for. Okay. 525-146.
Do we have a number on how many? Excuse me, Madam Chair. I'm sorry, Madam Chair. Do we have a number on how many golf carts that we're leasing?
Not right offhand. I'm sorry.
Okay, you'll report back to us on that.
I can. Yes, ma'am. Let me make a note.
Thank you all.
Okay, 525-146, merchandising supplies, $65,000. Vending supplies, $20,000. Operation license, $1,000. Sales tax expense, $4,000. Let's see. Capital outlay equipment requesting $50,000, and building improvement $100,000. And that concludes the golf course budget request. At page,
What, let me ask you this, what, and I'm just asking what, you know, the golf course is relatively new building. What type of improvements do Ed want to do now? I'm just asking because I've seen where it was compared to where it is.
let's see. Okay, so in his equipment, the 50,000 is security cameras,
Okay.
zero turn mower, which is equipment, and then this the 100,000 is additional upkeep and renovation of the cart path construction.
Okay. Now, did you not mention cart pass back? I would see that opposed to where you spoke about it earlier. Didn't you speak about the cart pass back up?
Repair and maintenance.
Repair and maintenance.
Repair and maintenance.
Be at 525014.
Yeah, that's where I could see the cart path in the capital outlay more so than I can see it on the repair and maintenance.
Councilor Matthews,
Yeah.
let me speak with Ed concerning that, because what I don't see is that if you recall and stuff, it was in one of the budgets that all the netting and stuff that was put up and stuff to prevent the balls from going over and stuff and hitting and stuff town and country.
Right.
This item may be miswritten or quoted and stuff. Let me check and stuff and see where that is, and
okay.
I'll get back with you all and stuff on that one.
Okay. Thank you.
Now let me ask a question, Ms. Pryor. If we are paying for the grass to be cut, why do we need a zero turn mower?
We need the equipment out there, so they are coming to work and they're using the equipment. They would need that equipment to be out there to do that work.
Okay, so they don't bring their own equipment with them. We're talking about the contracted workers that come to the golf course.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And this is, excuse me, Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this the zero turn, is this falling up on the capital outlay equipment? Where did the zero turn fall? I missed something.
Okay, it's okay. Let me go back so I can tell you where that is coded. That is coded golf course. Where did I? Oh, yes, I'm sorry, I'm looking in the wrong place. So yes, ma'am, it's down in the 60003. Capital outlay equipment, that's $50,000. Yes.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and one more question. Because it was something I wanted to ask as well. Do we have a written contract with these contract workers that works down at the golf course? I mean, whereby if they're contract, if they're contract workers, we're having to pay for the supplies as well as pay for the equipment. for them to come down to render a service that, I guess, I mean, my question is whether we do have a contract with them, and if we do, what does that contract entails? I mean, I can't see us having I mean, that's like hiring someone to come in to cut the grass, at Bessemer Utilities, and they have to use our lawnmower along with our weed eater, and then we have to buy the flowers for them to plant. So my question is, do we have a contract with these 15 contractual workers? And I understand the profit, and how beneficial that the golf course has been to the city of Bessemer financially. Is just getting an understanding. Do we? Do we have a contractual agreement with these?
No, ma'am. We wouldn't have a contractual agreement and stuff with these individuals. These individuals would be working just like a police officer would be working down at the civic center. That would fall under a contract worker. Just like an individual that's not on the payroll that would be working down at the civic center as a bartender. That you wouldn't, but they would still fall under contract workers that would get a 1099 and so at the end and so of of each year. Now, because obviously, if we didn't have contract workers, I'm sorry, we probably wouldn't be able to maintain a golf course if we had to hire through the personnel board all and some of the positions and benefits that were needed in order and stuff to run and so that golf course. That's why those individuals that work there has never and so been city employees. They've always worked under a contract worker scenario in order and so to be able and so to afford to run a golf course, because obviously we could not and so hire enough individuals through the personnel board, pay salaries and benefits in order to do it.
Yes, sir. I understand. As far as with like I said, contractual workers normally work under a contract, and once we finish adding up everything that's been itemized and broken down, we might it may be a bit more feasible for us to find a reputable company who could probably maintain the golf course. Because when you're looking at the repairs, we're budgeting, well, we're looking at the landscaping supplies. It's $80,000, being budgeted for that. $200,000 for the services that they're providing. Now, $50,000 set aside for the equipment for them to use while they're working. We're looking at over $300,000. That if I'm more than certain that there are companies that offer these services that we could enter in a viable contract, and even if it's the same amount of money, and or very likely it could cost us less to annually maintain the golf course. That may be something that we want to look into. Thank you all.
Getting some feedback from your mic, your phone, Councilor Stone.
I'm sorry. Okay, Ms. Price.
Yes,
Page
ma'am.
number 25.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. 525005, we're looking at the recreation center. Okay. Line number 525005. The request is $6,000. Incidentals, the request is $2,500. Workers' compensation is $5,000. Gas, oil, and usage is $2,500. See, uniforms, $4,000 requested. Building expense and maintenance, $6,500. Tires, and
That's 65,000.
I'm sorry,
I'm sorry.
65,000, not
Um, yes, ma'am. Can you give an I guess a explanation concerning that?
see. Okay, it's a combination of a lot of different things out there. It's keeping the floors clean, keeping the pool going. Just it's a lot of different things just to maintain and keep the facility in shape.
Okay, you said floors, pool. You have anything else on that list?
Cleaning supplies, mops, brooms. Um, it's just all the things for maintaining the building.
Yes, ma'am.
Chemicals for the pool and things like that.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
We do have someone employed there to do these chores, don't we?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, tires and tubes. The request is $2,500. Repairs to equipment. The request is $5,000. Small equipment. The request is $10,000. Training expense. The request is $4,000. Convention, conference, and travel expense, $5,000. Capital equipment, $15,000.
Madam Chair. Oh, Ms. Pryor, do we have an explanation for the 15,000?
Let's see.
I'm sorry, Councilor Crusoe, I was muted.
It's okay. It's okay.
Capital, Madam President.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Makeup.
Councilor Crusoe.
Yes, sir.
These are some things that may have already been purchased under capital equipment, 15,000. Plexiglass structure around the front desk, 100 folding chairs at $36 a chair. Security cameras, $4,000 for the parking lot, pavilion, and concession stand. Automatic lights for field, $1,500 remotely controlled lights. That's the 15,000 in capital.
Okay, thank you all. Okay.
Okay, Ms. Pryor.
Thank you. Copier lease maintenance, $3,000. We're on line 525032. Okay. Telephone requesting $20,000. Electricity requesting $65,000. Water, $60,000. Telephones, $20,000. School support, $5,000. Security, $30,000.
Just 1 second, Ms. Pryor. I'm sorry to bother you. Okay, we have utility and telephone on the 525038. And then then you just mentioned telephones on down further somewhere else. The building expense and phones at 525043. So what's the difference as far as with the phones?
Let's see. It's not the cell phone.
So 20,000 for each.
So
525038 and 525043.
Mr. Woodard would need to provide an explanation for that one. I'm not exactly sure. There's only, let's see, $5,000 charged there. Yeah, it's only $30,000 charged there. So we may just have two line items out there, and they're charging to either one of those two line items. I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to be, because if you add the two budgets together, $40,000 for the two budgets, and then let's see. Okay, so that's what it looks like. We just have two similar line items out there for that same type expense.
Okay, but are they duplicated in the total at the bottom as well?
No, it looks like they're charged when we pay the bills. Looks like it goes to let's see, because there's only $30,000 in expenses there, is what I'm saying. So there looks like when it's coded either using that utilities and telephone account, which is the 525038, or they're using that 525043. So them both together is $30,000, and he's got a budget of $40,000.
I mean, what I'm trying to get some clarity is as far as in what they are titled. As both of them are saying phones. What is it? I mean, is there a difference?
There is not a difference. There's not a difference. There looks like it's just two accounts put out there that can be used for the same thing. And so really, these two accounts can really need to just become one. So
Okay.
it's not cell phones or anything like that, because that's not the line item for cell phones. It's just these two accounts need to be just one account and one line item.
Okay, so you are going to make that correction?
Yes, ma'am. I can just collapse that, and it needs to just be one line item for telephone and building. Building telephones, basically. That's what that is.
Okay, thank you all.
Where you gonna put utilities? Ma'am?
Let's see. Okay, so there's another line item. If you look at 525041, there's you'll see electricity. So that's just holding the telephone charges. It's not any utilities in there. The utilities are in 525041 in electricity, or either in the water account.
Yeah, look like you have some merging to do.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. School support. Let's see, they're requesting $5,000. Park security. The request is
Ms. Pryor,
yes, ma'am.
when you say school support, what do you mean by that?
These are just different activities that they may want to do with the kids at the schools. Yes, ma'am. Okay, park security 525048, $30,000 is the request.
Okay, Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Pryor, as far as with the park security, I know that we have the officers inside the rec and different cameras throughout the property, but can you, I guess, give me a little more clarity or better understanding as far as in the 30,000 for park security, what all does it cover?
Yes, ma'am. So this line item is intended for police officers that are assigned over there for different events or different activities that are going on over there. Even sometimes if it would have to be like after hours or something like that.
Like an off-duty officer.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Advertising, $10,000 is requested. Summer program expenses, $30,000. Program supplies.
Miss Pryor, one moment. Do we have our own summer program or do we have Camp Bessemer?
My understanding is that this is a different summer program that's ran by the Recreation Center.
Okay.
Camp Bessemer is different, separate
Okay.
program.
Okay, Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
are you done with your questions concerning that?
I'm finished.
Okay, Ms. Pryor, as far as with this summer program, what does it entail? And also as far as in the participants or kids or adults, how are they identified for this program?
Yes, ma'am. And I don't want to overstep my boundaries into the operation aspect, so I'll just answer as best I can. I know it's a program where kids come in, they sign up. There is a fee for the program. The parents, they pay for the programs. They stay there during the daytime. The meals are provided. Recreation activities are provided by the staff that's there. And now, in terms of the actual selection process and all of that, that's kind of something Mr. Woodard would be better to answer. Well, maybe the mayor. I'm not sure about all the operational aspects of how
Okay.
they choose the children, which children will participate.
Mayor Gully, are you turning it over to Mayor Gully to answer?
Yes, ma'am, about the operational aspects of the selection of participants.
And what all does this program entail? I would like to just asking for some more clarity on.
Council Crusoe, I really would have to get Mr. Woodard to come and give you all of the aspects of the program, but this program really has been ran for about 2 years and so now. Yes, it is independent of Camp Bessemer. Yes, it's advertised and so as a summer program through the youth center. But as far as the complete details of everything that's offered and so relevant to the program, and so I would have to have the director.
Okay. Are you writing that down in your notes for I guess Mr. Woodard to communicate that information back to us, or I guess when you can report back to us with that communicate with that information, Ms. Pryor?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you all.
Okay, Ms. Pryor, you can go ahead.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Summer. I'm sorry, we've done that one. That's the one we just did. Okay, program supplies. I'm on 525052. Okay. Program supplies. The requested budget is $125,000.
Does that include the senior citizens?
Yes, my understanding is it's the senior citizens, it's the youth, it's all of those programs that are provided over there. So it would include the senior citizen programs, And
Okay.
all of those supplies that go to carry out those activities
Okay.
for the programs. Cellular phones, $10,000. Service agreements, $45,000. Um, capital outlay equipment, $15,000. Capital outlay building, $25,000, and capital outlay improvements, $30,000 requested.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let me go back, as far as what the service, agreement, do we have an explanation for that, Ms. Pryor? I guess, somebody needs to turn their, mute their phones. I'm having feedback.
I'm sorry. It's me. It's me.
Councilor Crusoe.
Yes, sir.
Service agreements include HVAC maintenance, 4,500, Astro Electric, overhead door, Fire Master, Cook's Pest Control, ADS, alarm monitoring, Simplex fire monitoring system, Spectrum cable and Wi-Fi,
Okay,
and fitness.
That's
and
enough. I was
fitness
just trying to
skills.
get an understanding as to what type services. Now, as far as with the capital outlay as it relates to the equipment, building, and improvement, do we have anything to justify? I guess each of those three line items.
Yes, sir. The mayor, you have that information.
Capital outlay equipment, 2 treadmills, $8,590, 2 hydraulic row machines, $2,700. I got a press box for a ball field, 10,000, 3 epileptical machines, 4,500, pool pump, 15,000, and Rainbird sprinkler system control modular,
Okay, is
1,500.
that on the all on the equipment, or you were giving me all three of them at the same time?
That was on the equipment.
Okay, equipment. Okay. Now, as far as with building, the 25,000.
Golf cart with hitch and cargo bed for field maintenance and dragging of the fields and setup. Air curtain for concession stand, 3,500. Administrative office cubicle, 7,500. Ice maker for concession stand, 2,000.
Okay. As far as the improvements.
Installation of slip resistant tile throughout men's and women's locker room. Painting and sanding of columns outside of the and around the rec center.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Gully. Thank you, Ms. Pryor. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, Ms. Pryor, page number 26.
Yes, ma'am. Page 26 is the Civic Center budget. Okay. Let's see. The Civic Center budget for general fund purposes, this is primarily just our salaries and fringe budget. So you can just take a look at these, the fringe and the salaries on it. That's what's charged to the general fund budget.
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am. Councilor Alexander.
I have a question for Ms. Pryor. Ms. Pryor, that sign that's been out there that was lit up years ago, why are they not budgeting to put that sign in use? Because I get a lot of calls about why we don't have our sign that's lit up, why it's not broadcasting what's going on at the Civic Center. Do you know what's going on with the sign there, and why is it not working, and why we haven't looked into replacing that sign?
I somewhat know that story, but I think the mayor can answer it better than me. So, Mayor.
Council Alexander, that sign was never owned by the Civic Center. It was actually owned by all of those entities that was on that sign. I think the hospital was on there. The Town and Country was on there. First Financial and all those companies actually own those own that sign. Now, and they maintain and stuff that sign. If that's something and stuff that you all as a council body want to look into, the purchase of a sign, a more up-to-date sign, then and so obviously we'll do that. But that sign was never owned by the Civic Center. It was owned by about those 6 to 8 companies that you saw and stuff on that sign. Councilor Matthews will know a lot about that and stuff as well.
You said that it's maintained by them, but is it not functioning? Is it not operating, or what are the organizations doing now for the sign? Because if not, then I think we need to probably bring this up in planning session to get us a sign for the Civic Center. If they're not going to maintain it and keep it up, the sponsors.
Well, I think the sign as it stands right now is probably old and antiquated, and it probably would take more to bring it back up than it would to probably purchase a new sign, a more updated sign at this particular point. So I don't think that they would be interested in trying and stuff to bring back up to a functionality, a sign that old. I think that's probably would be a good idea, and so to sit around and see which direction do we want to go in if we actually want to sign at the Civic Center.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I concur with both the mayor and Councilor Alexander. And the mayor was correct in what he stated. And the components or the control panel or the box would have to be replaced, and then we probably, I would agree we need to sit down and talk about it, because we'd have to get sit down and talk about it. We'd have to get a crane to come in and lift that head off of there and put another more than up-to-date head up top. So it do some discussing, and because I don't think those individuals that companies that names that on there now is going to go through the expense to do what needs to be done to bring it back up to par. So I guess at a planning session we can I concur we should just sit down and talk about it. Okay.
I do agree, Councilor Matthews and Councilor Alexander. But if you all can recall, we discussed this sign in February of 2020.
Yeah.
It was we had hoped to get some information back on that sign, but you're right, that sign is old and antiquated and needs to come down, and the city needs to own their own sign. So I would say let us, at our next planning session in May, sit down and discuss that sign at the Civic Center, because I love looking at that sign and knowing what's going on as I pass that away. Go ahead, Ms. Pryor. We're on our, looks like, last page.
Yeah, that is the last page. That's it.
Okay, how many items do you have, Ms. Pryor, to bring back? I have 6.
Let's see, I circled them all. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I have circled here the public improvement. There was a question about the telephones. I circled that one. I also, well, I had a note to also get some information on the BJC contract. Did we still need to do that, or did we satisfy that question?
No, ma'am, you said that you were going to double check it.
Okay, I'll double check and get that vendor on that. And then on page 19, which is street, there were a couple of questions about the roof and the maintenance account there. So I've got that one as well. There were two things. There were, let's see, both of those accounts $100,000, and it's the repairs to equipment as well as the maintenance. I was going to get more detail on those two accounts. Let's see. Now, also on page 22 for parking deck, I am going to get more detail and justification because we talked about the budget for supplies, and before that one is anything is done there, we wanted you all wanted to just get justification on that one as well. Okay. And then there's another question about on page 24 about the golf carts, how many golf carts. I didn't know that right offhand, so I can get that information. And then I will get information and bring it back if that's what I need to do on the page 25 where we talk about the program supplies. I'm sorry, we talked about the summer program expenses. There was a question about selection processes and some of those operational items that we can get more information on those. So those are the things I have. Is there anything else that I didn't mention?
I think those were the same things that I had. Counselors, we're not missing anything.
I don't think we necessarily missing anything, but I do want to ask a question, and if I need to wait until tomorrow when the chief be available, I can wait till then. My question is concerning I guess it was some signage. It was a flyer talking about Bessemer's police department and getting incentive of pay. And I'm trying to, I guess in my mind, I'm asking, where is these incentives coming from when we're looking at the budget? What part of the budget do they get incentivized? If that's something that the chief maybe can answer, Ms. Proud and Mayor.
There was I'll share what I know, and then if we need more information from the chief, we can do that. When we did, the only incentive that we've done for like the COVID, that came from a grant that was just specifically related to police. And that's the only other incentive I know about. That was, it was paid by a grant, so there was no city money involved in that. If there's any other information about a slide, we may need to just get the police chief over to answer that.
Councilor Matthews, you just want to wait until tomorrow?
Yeah.
And council meeting and
that'd be fine.
Opportunity to answer that question.
Yeah, that'd be fine. I'm hungry. I've been at it all day. Yeah.
I am, counselors. I thank you all so much for your time, and you can peruse back through the budget tonight if you like. If there's any additional questions, I think the mayor and Ms. Pryor will be available to answer those questions on tomorrow. I need a motion second.
Madam Chair, now you do know that at midnight tonight, if I'm not mistaken, this budget is am I right or wrong? Don't this budget
You're
collapse
right,
tonight?
and it is tonight, and we have council meeting in the morning at 10 o'clock, and the budget is on the agenda to extend and or to accept the budget as it is.
Ms. Pratt, you gonna work all night?
Mm-hmm.
That was a joke. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, I need a motion, second, and a roll call, please, Ms. Taylor.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Ms. Taylor, are you still here?
I am.
Okay.
Roll call. Counselor Alexander. Counselor Alexander. She gone. Counselor Cruz.
Aye.
Counselor Crusoe. Counselor Marshall.
Aye.
Counselor Matthews.
Aye.
Counselor Donald.
Aye.
5 ayes, no nays. The motion carries.
You all have a good night, and I'll see you in the morning, God's willing. Bye-bye.